when you're watching it, and I hope that this happened with you, you should be able to forget that this is, Ishaan Khatter and he is, a young actor and this is Tabu.
एक विद्रोह ही है, विद्रोह उसके अंदर हमेशा चल रहा होता है. And also, it's a character who is suffering from a mental illness.
One, like me and Ishaan had such a good relationship on set.
Characters like Mahesh Kapoor or like Nawab Saab, these are definitely the way things should be and people should be with one another.
It was this beautiful, chaotic experience that was powered by love, I would say.
Ram, Ishaan, Shubham, and Vijay, welcome to Bollywood Hungama. I've seen
Thank
A
you.
Suitable Boy. I had a great time watching it. Very relevant and very engaging in many ways. So my first question to you is, Mr. Ram Kapoor, you play the voice of reason in many ways. Why is it that many a times the voice of reason is outnumbered by the unreasonable and irrational voices?
That's the way the world is, yaar. Especially आज का माहौल तो वैसा ही है. See, I liked that about my character. That in such a volatile era where the country was going through so much upheaval, so much change, so much self-discovery, and there were so many things going wrong, he was trying his best to be as correct as he could, as idealistic as he could, and do the right thing. I love that about the character. I have played characters of the other persuasion many times where, but playing somebody this idealistic, this hardworking, this diligent, wanting to do everything right, not corruptible, is fighting for the common man, for the Aam Aadmi, for the farmer. This was all one of the most endearing things about the character, which I loved. And you're absolutely right. ऐसे कम लोग होते हैं, and there are more people that want the easy way out. And even today, our country is like that, unfortunately. But I like being different here.
That's wonderful. Okay. First of all, you don't look like the father of Ishaan Khatter. You are way too young for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But they look at my white hair. Look at all these youngsters and look at this.
That
आपकी
doesn't
सारी
matter,
मेहनत
but
पे पानी
Sama,
फेर दिया इन्होंने.
that doesn't matter. But I don't think that in the series you do look for sure, but as of now you don't. All right, so
Thank you.
Ishaan, wonderful performance, and I think you like to experiment, you like to take your chances, you like to do something which is not maybe expected from you, like romancing Tabu, and that too so convincingly. My question to you is that there's so many layers to this character. Maybe he's not suitable, but the fact is that he emerges a hero, and the situations tend to bring the hero out from him.
Thank you for your kind compliment. I'm sorry that I deviated for a second. I saw the big grin on Vijay's face when you mentioned the romance with Tabu. I don't really see him as a heroic character. I think there are perhaps moments where he emerges heroic. But one of the most interesting things for me was the fact that he's such a kaleidoscopic character. He has so many shades that he kind of goes everywhere, and once you start to feel like you can predict his course, he does something that throws his entire world off balance. So I found him a very interesting, almost as if he is on the verge of erupting at any time. Extremely charismatic, energetic character, but at the same time there is a lot of depth and a lot of pathos, and that comes from in the due course of the story. But the main attraction to me was how much abandon this character has, and how open he is to his surrounding characters. He's like an eternal wanderer. He goes everywhere. There's a moment where he describes himself as a moth, and Tabu the flame that he is attracted to. He's very much like that. He's one of the most interesting characters I think I have read and had the good fortune to play. So that his nature of being like so much within him that he's trying to discover. It is a journey of self-discovery for him as well. But I found his interplay with the various characters so interesting, because he had so many relationships but so varied and so diverse from each other. If the esteemed gentleman that I'm sharing this frame with, each and every one of those relationships was distinguished, nuanced, and had there was so much there to play off of. But it was all so different, you know. They were such different, almost different worlds that these characters inhabit, and especially the difference between my relationship with my father and my relationship with Firoz, and then with Vijay, who's sort of an outsider to this world. It was a very rare opportunity to do something that had so many layers to it, so many
Right. So,
shades.
you know, I think heroism is relative for sure. But why I say heroic at several occasions, and many a time it's the situations. So, for example, the way he saves Firoz
Firoz, yeah.
from a group of hooligans, or for example, in the village when he just rises to the occasion for the poor. So that was another one. And even apart from that, the chivalry that he displays with Saida, he's not judging her, and he is honest in that relationship. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah, and what
heroism.
No, and these are, like I said, these are some of the shades of this character. These are some of the characteristics of Man that I found to be very endearing and very lovable. But at the same time, you know, without giving any spoilers, the events that follow these particular junctions in the story the events that you mentioned, he goes out there and he does something to almost erase that, or you know, something very very contrasting. So that's what I mean when I said that it's a volatile character. You know, he kind of goes everywhere, and it's because he is vulnerable and he has not found his feet, and also because he's so open that he's very affected by his environment, and so he's very reactive. It's a very reactive character. Inherently, of course, there is a lot of good in him, and that is who he really is. That is the real essence of Man as a character. But yeah, I wouldn't want to take too much time, but I completely agree with you. That's one of the things that I loved about the character, because he's so lovable, but at the same time, you know, Meera said this to me. She said that what I love about Man is when you start to believe that he is a certain way, you see another side to it, you know. And she was very specific about that. She really wanted to underline that he's human. He's
All right,
human.
he is human. All right, okay. So now Shubham, Firoz, the way he just flies away the rose petal from the shoulder of Man, and the way Man flies away the rose petal from the shoulder of Firoz, there's a difference in that.
I think there's a difference in it, but I think
Touchy
the
subject.
difference also reflects the journey that they've both been on. And I think their relationship is very interesting. We were talking about this earlier. Like me and Ishaan had such a good relationship on set. Like Meera like made it very important, made it very clear to us that it's very important that we become really close friends, and we did. Like we would basically like debrief at the end of every day in either of our rooms back at the hotel, and yeah, we became very
This is not
close, and
sounding good.
like that
Yeah,
kind of
move
chemistry.
on real quick.
See, I'm not talking. I'm not. My question was not about Shubham and Ishan. My question is about the characters.
Right. Oh yeah, good point.
The way Firoz looks at Ishan,
It's all a blur
and the way
for him. Man
Ishan.
and Firoz, Ishan.
Rose and Man.
Everything is relevant. Everything
I'm
is
not judging
relevant.
you
The
at
actor.
all. I'm just talking. Yeah.
So
I know.
Nobody is judging.
if I may just interject, just give you a a push. I feel like they are
Please,
different
please.
verses of the same poem. The way he
Wow.
Exactly. क्या बात है यार, yeah,
A
wow.
poem written by Vikram Seth.
true
Yes, exactly.
and
All right.
translated
Okay.
by Meera Nair.
I think you've looked very nice. The character is very endearing, and you come across as someone who's genuinely good. That definitely stays for sure, and I'm sure that you're going to be getting a lot of good responses. So Vijay Varma, fascinating actor, कमाल के actor हैं आप, और आपके जो
शुक्रिया।
ग्राफ है पूरे स्टोरी में बहुत दिलचस्प है, और जिस तरीके से आप पढ़ाते हैं उसमें भी एक अलग ही अंदाज है उसमें भी.
हाँ, आप तो उर्दू से इतने तारुफ रखते हैं, तो आपको पता चल गया होगा कुछ खामियां हैं, तो पक्का बताना अलग से आपके सामने मत बताना।
नहीं आई थिंक आप तो हैदराबाद के हैं, तो नुक्ते उक्ते तो आपके साफ हैं, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम बात नहीं. बट नहीं, जिस
चलो
तरीके से
बढ़िया।
आप वो सईदा
सईदा
सिस्टर
और
तस्नीम
तस्नीम
या तो तस्नीम को जिस तरीके से आप पढ़ाते हैं, तो उसमें एक काफी इन्वॉल्वमेंट का लेवल काफी ज्यादा था.
जी
वो
जी
काफी
जी
दिलचस्प
दुरुस्त फरमाया।
ऑलराइट. सो जैसे मैंने आपसे शुरू में कहा कि उसमें काफी लेयर्स हैं, कि वो सोशलिस्ट भी
जी।
हैं, वो एक सर्टेन तरीके का एक वो सोसाइटी में उनको अफेक्ट करता है, जो डिफरेंसेस हैं वो अफेक्ट करता है एट द सेम टाइम के family के भी issues हैं, and then he's someone who's committed to मान as well. कैसे आप किरदार को देखते हैं और तैयारी कैसी कैसी करी आपने उसको निभाने के लिए?
एक रेबेलियन है उसके अंदर, एक विद्रोह ही है, विद्रोह उसके अंदर हमेशा चल रहा होता है. And also, it's a character who is suffering from a mental illness. I discussed this with Vikram Seth sir, and I asked him because it's a real character. Like, he had a Urdu teacher who lost his mind at a certain time. So, but it was a different time. There was no clinical diagnosis made. But from what I understood and for conversations that I had with Vikram sir, it was schizophrenia. He started to hallucinate stuff, started to have ideas of grandiosity. He started to believe that the government and everybody is against him. So it's a clear case of schizophrenia. So it's basically a man losing his mind to schizophrenia, and then eventually the outcome you'll probably find out when you watch the show. So for me, that was the interesting journey where a person is having a lot of turbulence inside him. He's tightly wounded, and he wants to make some significance, make his life significant to something. And of course, he has major daddy issues, like something that he is constantly fighting with the father, and the son's relationship is not good. And then there is the system of marriage, which made him even more, trapped. So when he looks up at the character of Man, the son of Mahesh Kapoor, the big socialist Congress leader, it's a ray of hope for him. And when he meets Man for the first time, it's like, oh my God, he's in the presence of somebody who can actually change. It's like a very Taxi Driver moment, the Travis Bickle moment, where he looks at that politician and thinks that, you know what, we can be friends. It's just because the worlds are different. There are two different people coming from two different classes. They can never come together like how Rashid would want it, and that threw him off. So it's series of setbacks which made the character very, very attractive to me.
Ram sir, the sort of relationship that you're sharing with Nawab Saab, for example, Amir Bashir's character. Now, that is something that it's not idealism, but I think that is something in a way things should be, because it makes sense. It makes practical sense as well, rational sense as well, for people to just coexist and cohabit. At the same time, there's Manoj Pawar's character who's absolutely having other ambitions and other viewpoint as well. Now, how do you look at this contrast, that the way it has been shown? Some may call it, one is maybe idealist, the way of looking at it, but many would say that that's the way it should be in a country like India. But and apparently the things haven't really changed in so many years.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it's a tragedy because we were discussing this earlier also. There's so many issues back then which are still issues today. They haven't changed in a lot of ways. Even though Suitable Boy is set in the 50s, it's a mirror image of what's happening today. And I personally do consider it a very big tragedy, because characters like Mahesh Kapoor or like Nawab Saab, these are definitely the way things should be and people should be with one another. Not only in this country, but all over the world. These issues very much exist in India, but currently, as we all can see, they exist all over the world. And it's sad. It really is sad. The amount of progress we've made in the last 50 years, 100 years, these deep-rooted issues seem to be staying the same. Even if you forget his relationship with Nawab Saab, but even if you look at him as a politician, we need politicians like him. We don't need people who are corrupt or people who try to find the easy way out. We need people who are willing to do the work and willing to help the common man, are willing to do whatever it needs to be the best that they can be, so that their party can be the best it can be, and so that the country can be as best as it could be. So I fully agree with you, but that's why I said, because we're living in a world that we are, I loved how idealistic he is, not only as a politician, but even in his relationship with his best friend, who happens to be a Muslim. I do feel sad when I look at the scenario of not only our country, but the entire world. It makes me sad. It's a fact. And to be very honest, I don't foresee it finding a solution anytime soon. That is the reality of our world.
Of course. All right. So, Ishaan, while I was watching the series, a thought that crossed my mind, and I'm telling you an opinion that I feel that maybe will come in quite a few minds as well. Now, so Tabu has played Shahid's mother in Haider, and now you are shown in terms of
In a
it's a
romantic
very
equation with her character. Yeah.
romantic. It's not merely romantic. It's like cataclysmic in many ways. It's like it's volatile. The chemistry is actually volatile. It's like आग दोनों तरफ बराबर की लगी हुई है. My question to you is that did you have apprehensions? Did you, because you know, as an actor, while you're preparing, you're a different sort of actor. आपका preparation का method भी अलग है, मुख्तलिफ है. Did you have any apprehensions कि यार मैं, how can I and how should I make it look convincing that even she should take me very seriously, and on screen, which it should look convincing.
I actually think, sir, that I think it's important to not look at it from such a personal lens, because it's not about Ishaan and Tabu. And if I made it perhaps about Ishaan, then maybe it would have come off that way. Maybe it wouldn't have been received the way that it has so far, and hopefully that it will be, because you need to lose that sense of the actors, and watch them merely as characters. And there was no it was written extremely direct, and the nature of their relationship, the nature of Man, it's probably the only relationship in Saida's life, or rather the only man in her life who doesn't see their relationship as transactional. I think it was very important for me to look at it entirely as two characters, and the nature of the relationship is a very important part of the story. It is not accepted by his own father, by his own society. But I had to have complete conviction going into it, because if I had started to think, oh my God, I'm romancing Tabu, and I had started to think of screen age and how this would be appropriated and how it would be viewed and all of that stuff, then I may have messed up the performance. So I think what was more important was for Tabu and I to be in synchrony, and for us to be in synchrony, so that we could play these characters and bring out this relationship as it so deserved to be portrayed. So I think I somehow subconsciously never went too much into that zone. I was very aware that it's a thin line, sir. It's a thin line. It can be viewed a certain way, but when you're watching it, and I hope that this happened with you, you should be able to forget that this is, Ishaan Khatter, and he is, a young actor, and this is Tabu, and you're aware of all these things in the story. Man would be about half the age that Saida is, but you believe in it because of the conviction of this character, because of it legitimizes their love, because like you said, there is equal fire on each side. The relationship is very different for both of them. They're at very different points in their lives. They come from very different worlds. They inhabit different worlds entirely, different tabkas, different classes of society, but there is something there that brings them together, and I think that synchrony was important to find. Yeah, so we had to be equally invested in each of our characters and know our reasons for Man and Saida to be attracted to each other and eventually fall in love respectively, to be able to do this justice. So I think that's the route that we all took.
Shubham, how do you sum up this experience of yours?
A dream come true. It was my first experience on an Indian set, and I was working with like a dream cast with actors I've always dreamed of working with and grown up watching, and been watching with my family for years. And yeah, it's A Suitable Boy is my favorite book, written by my favorite writer, and the adaptation's been directed by my favorite director. So it was this beautiful, chaotic experience that was powered by love, I would say.
All right,
One for
that's a
love.
wonderful way to end that. Yes, that's a wonderful way to end that. So thank you very much, Ram, Ishaan, Shubham, and Vijay. Congratulations. I'm sure that you guys will be receiving a great response for the series, 23rd October onwards. So congratulations and all the best wishes. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
you.
very
Shukriya.
much.
Bye.